Today is Friday. It's February 27th, 2015, and this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best. Good morning. Happy Friday.
This is the only Friday this week.
Wow, what an observation.
I know, so make the most of it.
Yes.
And the last Friday of the month.
That's right. February's almost over.
Almost over, so
Tomorrow's
there you go.
the last day.
Make the most of it.
Then it'll be March, my goodness.
I know.
Wasn't it just New Year's? It seems like a week or so ago.
Seemed like New Year's was like at the beginning of the year, I think.
Really?
Yeah, sometime in
You're
January.
so good, Wayne.
Hey, I try. You know, I read a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So
Okay.
what's happening today?
Well, everything. Woo!
Everything's happening on Friday.
Yes. Okay, but, well, it could be.
Well, don't forget this morning at the library at 9:30 is
Oh, yeah.
Black Soldiers of the Civil War presentation.
Mm-hmm.
You know who's putting it on. Can you tell me a little more about her?
Geraldine Lee is our Human Resources Director for the Wayne County government. She has an extensive background in that field. She was also
In
with
civil government, Civil War?
in human resources.
Oh, well.
I mean, that's her background, as well as library person.
Okay.
She was with the Wayne County Public Library, and she has a big background in human resources, but her hobby is the Civil War.
Interesting.
Which
we have
actually,
quite a few of those around.
we do.
Wayne County, though.
We have, yeah, quite a few historians. Actually, the Civil War is misnamed. There was nothing civil about it. The Civil War is when there are two factions trying to take over the government,
Right.
and that's not what was going on. It's actually the war between the states, or the war of northern aggression, or whatever you want to call it. But
Right.
whatever you want to call it, it's still, everybody calls it the Civil War. But this is a fascinating topic, and she is quite knowledgeable. She's an expert in this area. And you'll learn that there were African Americans, former slaves,
That's right.
and then free men who actually fought for both sides, the North and the South. It's a fascinating topic, and it's something that will forever be talked about and discussed.
Right.
Is the American War of 1861, and
She's got about 100 or so pictures, though, of black soldiers that were involved in this war that she'll be showing with us
Oh, I love
this
it.
morning at 9:30 at the Wayne County Public Library at no cost.
That's right.
Everyone is welcome.
So if you're watching this program, which reruns at noon and at 5:30
And
this
it's already
evening,
happened.
you missed it, buddy. Let me tell you, you missed it. So you'll have to wait for the next one.
That's right.
Now, if you are a senior citizen, and I say that with a lot of love, if you're a senior citizen and you need help with your tax preparation, you can get that at the Senior Center. AARP Tax Volunteers will be at the Veterans Building, next to the Senior Center at 2001D East Ash Street in Goldsboro on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 until 2, beginning which is underway until April 14th.
Okay.
Now this is by appointment only.
Right.
By appointment only.
Is there a phone number?
There's a phone number. Here's the number: 919-731-1591. So 731-1591. If your phone doesn't have a 91 on it,
What?
wait a minute.
What?
Never mind. 731-1591.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, tonight at the Paramount Theater, of course, is the second show
Yes.
of Stage Struck Young People's Own Theater.
Yes.
They're putting on Les Miserables,
Yes.
the school edition. It'll be taking place at 7 o'clock tonight. Then they'll have another show on Saturday, and then another show on Sunday. So if you'd like to see Les Mis put on by the Stage Struck Young People's Own Theater right here at the Paramount Theater, you can give them a call. You can call the box office, or you can get tickets online at GoldsboroParamount.com. Tickets are $16 for adults, and I believe $12 for children 18 and under, something like that.
I had a cousin who wanted to see that because he thought it was about misery, and well, he thought it was less miserable.
Okay.
Less miserable.
Okay.
He kept waiting for the sequel. More miserable.
Oh, excuse me, I need to make a correction as you
As
okay.
That might have been the prequel, not the sequel.
Okay, that could have been the prequel, not the sequel.
I
I
need to make
got
a
my pre and C
correction.
all messed up here. What's your correction there,
The
lady?
tickets are $16 for adults, but they're $13 for students 18 and under.
Okay, 13 for students
That's
18
right.
and under.
That's
And
right.
on that note, we're going to take off and head over to our interviews. Our guest today, Dr. Stephen Peters, head of the psychology department at Cherry Hospital. Hey!
Hey, good morning, Wayne.
Hey. Glad to have you with us.
Yes, indeed. Always good to be here.
Always good to have you in the studio with us today, Steve. And today I want to talk about something that appears to be and gaining a lot of momentum in social media, and that is why or how or why do people talk about or have a comment about or post things on social media about hate. And we've gotten to the point now, it just seems that every time you look at any social media site, there's somebody on there who has posted a hate-gram or a hate message of some kind, and then people comment and respond to it in like manner.
Right.
What's that all about? Why are we doing that?
Best I can tell, there seems to be at least a few motives. One of them is just because the person who posted is distressed by the images or the content of the story and just want to vent that, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Some people resonate with the story and say, well, this person appears to be as angry as I am, so I'm kind of mirroring that and want to perpetuate this.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe that happens sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
There's clearly those folks who are looking to see what kind of reaction do we get. If I post some outrageous story and there's no short supply of that, what reactions will I get? What comments? So it's provocative. So I think there's some folks that are motivated that way. I think maybe a large part of it is there are so many things happening, particularly on the more violent, aggressive, horrible things that people do to each other, that we find it hard to understand what motivated that person, what drove that person, what was it that these people's lives came to that intersection and this outcome occurred. And we're kind of all get curious to try to implant in. We need to understand that. You know.
Has it been your experience that people who do this online or post on social media, do they carry this also into their private lives? Out in public, are they like this?
It makes sense, as we speculate. I think there's some, maybe, and I think it's probably a small percentage of people who resonate with maybe an angry story because it is sort of how they're feeling. And so they find connectedness in that. And it is expressing how they're feeling a bit too. I wish I could have done this. And they're kind of more supporting it than they are posting an outrageous story. More often than not, I think people are appalled. There are certainly more people, I like to think, that there are more people who are just appalled by some of these outrageous stories. And find that it's hard to reconcile these horrible outcomes. How can people play the tape and it sounds like they were kind of normal people, and then all of a sudden this horrible thing happens and this behavior that's really unexplainable. It could be from a variety of motivations. Who knows what the trigger was? Who knows what the motive was? Who knows what the story behind the story was about?
Yeah.
What impresses me about it is a lot of times it doesn't matter. That a lot of those motives we will not ever understand. It's probably very private to that very specific situation, to the people involved. As I've evaluated some people who have indeed been in very horrific, challenging outcomes, even they, after the fact, cannot describe their motivations, what happened. They're not sure either. So you think, well, I guess we'd have to, it's easy to say, well, you have to talk to that person. And what I would tell you is, well, you can talk to that person and you still don't know.
Still don't know.
Yeah. A lot of us are working, the courts, the criminal justice system, psychologists, try to talk with those people. And a lot of times it's not to be known. It was so much in the moment. And short of being right there, right at the time, and being able to stop it enough to have some conversation, which would probably not happen, there's no way to really truly know. So the quest is then to start speculating. You know, if you don't know something, thanks to social media, we start filling in the blank. Maybe some news a reporter says he thinks it's this. And next thing you know, we believe that's true. And that's what social media says happened. And it's just not, maybe not the case.
So do we take this information that we see, this hate we see posted on social media, do we take this and expand it to the point of having to watch somebody because what they posted is a hint as to what they may do?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the tip of the iceberg?
Yes,
Kind
exactly.
of phenomenon, where somebody who's that caught up in this, and if it's, most of their posts are about, morning devotionals or something, maybe not so much.
Right.
But maybe if this is a theme to their life.
And you see where they could cause harm to people or animals or anything.
Yeah, you see that. And so we don't want to get into a society that we're kind of watching everybody.
Yeah.
And flat out, we don't have the manpower, the cost, whatever, even the technology to do that anyway.
You don't want to do that, but you almost feel like you have to now because there's so much of that out there.
Right. And at the same time, we're concerned about intrusions into our privacy.
Exactly.
And that's got to be balanced somehow. And what a complicated story that is to try to resolve.
Yeah.
Because there is that right to privacy. At the same time, what if you're in a mindset, if you will, that's going to soon spill over in a not so private way to harm other people?
Mm-hmm.
Then society needs to be protected, and we need to intervene in that.
So how do we do the right thing?
Yeah.
What mindset do we have to do the right thing without?
I think it's a lot of conversation.
Yeah.
And it starts with people talking about these issues, thinking about these issues. At what point are we looking for some balance? I think we've always had some share of horrific, violent, aggressive behavior, and from before we even invented electricity or computers to now, if it occurs 10 minutes ago, it's been viewed a million times.
Around the world, yeah.
Around the world.
Yeah.
And so our exposure to that is so much higher now than it was certainly 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that's helping us in this domain or working against us, I don't know that the numbers are in yet.
Well, there has to be a feeling of guilt when somebody says, you know what, this what I'm reading is a post, and this person seems to be stuck in this particular area,
Yeah.
and I know they're going to probably cause harm to somebody, but I don't want to go snitch. I don't want to be a tattletale. I don't want to call the police because the police may think I'm not, or the law enforcement may not think I'm doing,
right.
I may not right.
And interesting enough, it is mostly after the fact. Once, again, some horrible outcome has occurred, then they go back and sort of roll back the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
They go back and look at some of the texting or telephone conversations that they can always have access to,
Yeah.
seems like. And then you hear the themes. You hear what could have been predictors to this bad behavior, or horrific behavior. But can you say, well, gosh, was that enough in and of itself to predict this behavior such that your rights to privacy should have been intruded on? There's kind of the balancing act. We look at those factors after the fact. So once a murder has taken place, all the Facebook postings suddenly become very relevant. And in light of that murder, we can then, we hear the motives, we hear the thinking, we see the expressions, and now we understand the significance of it. But if you hear it as just somebody venting, talking, well, you hear that all the time and nobody thinks anything of it.
That's right. Nowadays.
Yeah.
No, and it gets worse, but people still don't think anything of it. So
filter what you look at. Make sure your kids have some filter in place.
yeah.
Computers and all that belong more in dens, living rooms, dining rooms, than they belong in bedrooms. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Some adult supervision of that, and adults supervise yourself. If you're looking at Facebook or some of those things that just stir you up too much, turn the thing off. You have a right to turn it off.
What a novel idea.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Throw it in
Gee,
the trash.
Who would have thought of that?
I know. That's hard to do, apparently.
Apparently it is for some people.
Yeah,
and there is an addiction.
Yeah. There's there's addiction to oxygen. Because I breathe it all the time.
Have
Can't
to
seem
have that.
stop it.
Yeah.
But We like calling everything an addiction now, but there
Yeah.
are just bad habits.
I was reading here recently, online, of
yeah,
course,
yeah,
that
yeah,
there was
yeah.
a fellow who is being treated for internet addiction.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, well, if you spend all your time on the internet and not doing your work,
Yeah.
that's probably close to being an addiction
Close
of some
to it,
sort.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, regardless of everything, if you see or feel someone may be a danger to the public,
That's always in play.
Let somebody know
and
about it.
talk about it. Talk to them. Talk to some other folks. Talk to some authorities if need be. That always makes sense.
Yeah.
And then resist that temptation, if you will, to kind of armchair quarterback after some horrible news event has occurred, to speculate as to what may have been contributing factors, motivations, etc. Because until you hear the whole story, and sometimes a jury may hear the whole story, and even they walk away and say, well, I'm not real sure.
Yeah.
And I heard all the evidence, so
Yeah.
to speak. And so sometimes we don't know, and it's not to be known. And that's the hard part, that idea that there's some of this that we can't explain, that it's not to be known, and that's okay.
Yeah. Just when you hear something, think it through. Wait until you have all the information.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. To be continued.
Yes, indeed.
Dr. Stephen Peters, the head of psychology at Cherry Hospital. Thank you.
Hey, always good to be here, Wayne.
Thank you, sir.
Interesting topics.
Good. All right. No. It's Friday.
We're back.
Woohoo! We're back.
All day it's Friday.
It is indeed. Guess who's having a birthday today?
Who?
Joanne Woodward.
Oh, really?
The celebrity actress,
Ah.
she is a wonderful actress. She's been around a long time. She's been around 85 years, as a matter of fact.
5 years old?
85. Joanne Woodward is 85 today.
My goodness.
Now, a lot of people don't know the name Van Williams. Now, you'd know him if you saw him. He's just, because he's tall, dark, and handsome. I mean, there's no other way to describe this guy. Very handsome guy. Unfortunately, he did well in Hollywood. He didn't do as well as he could have done. He's 81 years today, and anybody who remembers the Green Hornet on TV from years ago,
Yes.
not the current one, but the years ago, the Green Hornet, the one with Bruce Lee in it. Okay, that's Van Williams. And really a very talented actor, but he just never really got the good parts. And that's a fact, he didn't. But anyway, he was on Surfside 6 before that, in that 1960 program he was on. Barbara Babcock she was on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. She played Dorothy, her friend. She was in the TV show Pasadena. She played Lillian. She's 78 today. One of my favorite entertainers, and this guy has done everything from good guy, bad guy, teachers, judges, cops, everything. He's
might
done
have
it
that?
all. He's also my favorite radio announcer, Dr. Johnny Fever. Howard Hessman of WKRP in Cincinnati is 75 years today.
Oh, wow. I used to love that show.
I
years ago.
know, and it's still on in
Yeah.
syndication, of course, but he's 75 today. He also went on to do Head of the Class.
Okay.
And see, and what makes him special is that he was never typecast. People who are so talented as he is unfortunately typecast into a
I'm
particular
sure.
role.
Absolutely.
And they say, well, he can only do this part,
or he
or he
does
can
that
only do
best.
that, or he does
Right.
this best. He was never typecast. He can do anything.
Good for him.
Anything. Lou Hirsch is having a birthday. He was Arnie in My Hero. He's Jones on Tomorrow People. He's 60 today. Adam Baldwin, no relation to those other Baldwin guys, is in Firefly. He's also been on NCIS, Angel, The Inside, Daybreak, Last Ship, and Chuck. He's Adam Baldwin is 53 today. He played Jane Cobb, the star of Firefly. Grant Show was on Melrose Place. Grant was Jake on Melrose. He's 53 today. Sarah Blakely, American businesswoman, she founded Spanx. You know what Spanx is?
Yes. Every woman knows what Spanx are.
I have no idea. She's 44 today. Kate Mara was on House of Cards. She plays Zoe on House of Cards. She's also Shari on day 5 of 24. She's 32 today. Kate Mara is. So there are your birthdays for today.
There you go.
All
One more
right.
day of February and we're into March. How
We're
about
gonna
that?
march right in. That's right.
Right.
That's
Don't
right.
forget, we wanted to mention to you, there's 2 things happening with Goldsboro Parks and Rec. Mark your calendar. March 14th, which is a Saturday, from 7 a.m. until 4. The Easy Bait and Tackle and Goldsboro Parks and Recreation are teaming together to put on the 2015 Shad
Oh
Tournament.
yeah.
It's $20 per entry angler.
Oh, yeah.
Give them a call at 739-7480 to register to be a part of that Shad Festival. Then we've got a golf tournament, the Down East Open, happening March 20th, 21st, and 22nd, where you'll play at 3 different municipal golf courses in Goldsboro and surrounding areas. Want to find out more about that? Give them a call, Goldsboro Parks and Recreation.
Got away.
Your fish got away? We'll wait till March 14th, and you can be a part of the Shad tournament.
Oh, thank you.
How about that?
Oh, boy. Shad tournament.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Easy Bait and Tackle's been running that for them by themselves for a long time, and they teamed up with Goldsboro Parks and Recs a year or so ago, and that's been turning into a great big event with lots of prizes.
It has mushroomed
It
into
has.
a major Wayne County event,
Yes.
and people from all over.
ages.
Yeah, all ages. Kids love this thing. Yeah, and even if they don't fish, there'll be people there to help them.
That's right.
Bait the hook, and then they just go out and they can. Kids
have a
have
good
kids
time.
have a good time with this thing here. All right,
right. Well, that's
And
all for today, I
that's
believe.
It. That is it for today. We'll be back Monday. Have a great weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Drive carefully and please wear your seatbelt. That is so important. Think about your family when you're out driving around. All right. So until Monday, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.